when he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. When he opened the seventh seal. So, as I said already, the book of life is the book in which all the names of those who will enter life are found. And the Lamb has been opening the book since chapter 6. Now he's opening the last of the 7 seals. So that's why there is silence in heaven, which is huge, because in heaven, pretty much according to what we read in scriptures, there's no silence ever. For all malachim, well, not all, but well, all worship Yahweh, but they have work to do. So there are certain creatures, the living creatures that surround the throne, the 4 living creatures, the cherubim, they worship the Almighty continually, saying Kadosh, 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 set apart, set apart, set apart. And that has a lot of meanings, which we'll see eventually, or maybe it's already recorded. And we see here that in this exact moment, even those creatures stay quiet. So the entire reality of the heavens was quiet for half an hour. And that has to do, I repeat, with the fact that the book is finally open. The book that nobody could open, nobody was worthy to even look at it. Yet then came the Lamb, who became that person who was worthy of opening the book. He finally did. And now creation is waiting to know who are the children of Yahweh. For it is written that the entire creation was subjected to vanity until the moment when the revelation of the children of Yahweh will be given. In Romans 8:20, I'll read from 19. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Yahweh. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope. So creation was subjected to futility. That's why there is destruction. That's why there is death. That's why there is something wrong with this reality. Everything is futile, like we see in the book written by Shlomo, the wisest man, obviously, before Messiah, who said that all is vanity. So, but when it comes to this reality, I want to make that clear. So, for this creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope. Yahweh allowed this reality to be subjected to futility through the action of Adam when he ate of the fruit, because Yahweh knew and therefore had hope of what would come about eventually through human history, for he knew the end from the beginning. So creation, and even its creatures, even humans, or I would say even more humans, since Yahweh gave us intellect, yet not all knowledge. So there are a lot of people who believe they are so wise as to question the Almighty and his creation and the way he does things. So they see everything from, well, for instance, like those who believe in either that there is no creator or that the creator is evil, for the way in which they see creation from their own perspective, which is very short-sighted, to say the least. So there are people who question the Almighty and fight the Almighty for not being humble enough to understand that he is above and his thoughts are above our thoughts, and therefore what he has in mind is not what a person may be able to imagine. It's way above that. So that is why the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope. Because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the exalted liberty of the children of Yahweh. So since the creation will be also delivered from the bondage of corruption, then creation is waiting in expectation for the moment in which the names of the children of Yahweh will be revealed, which is when the seventh seal is opened and the book of life is finally read by the Lamb. So I repeat from verse 19, for the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Yahweh. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the exalted liberty of the children of Yahweh. So I hope that's clear. So that's one of the main reasons why there is this time of silence. Yahuhanan comes from the earth where there is time. He goes to the heavens in which eternity is experienced. So he calculates the time that he experienced from his perspective as a human and says about half an hour. So this is not exactly as we see in other parts of scriptures, that for instance 1,000 years for humans to Yahweh is like a day. As I also explained, that has to do with the second heaven. For in eternity there is no such thing as time, for time is a creation of the eternal one. So Yahweh, for him, well, he created time, so time is not something that holds him or something that in which he is or that he is living or experiencing. So when we compare 1,000 years to one day, that is in one way to explain that the Almighty has all the time in the world, but in a more, well, I don't know, in a deeper way, has to do with how time is experienced between the third and the first heaven. Obviously, that is the second heaven in which the angels reside. That heaven is a creation, so is subjected to time, but it represents the eternal heaven, so its time is weights lower so that it feels like eternity. So that's why 1,000 years for men is just one day in the second heaven. Second heaven in which there was an angel, or well, there's still an angel, but he doesn't have the same job anymore. There was an angel that was the representation before humanity of the Almighty Creator. And that is why that relation of 1,000 years to one day, meaning to that reality of the angels, of which one was the representation of the Most High. So in this case, it's not like if we, for instance, since I said that one day is like 1,000 years, then we could say that 1,000 years divided by 24 and then divide that by half and get what half an hour would be. However, what Yahuhanan is telling us is not exactly that. It was a half an hour of heavenly time, which we should interpret as years in our time. It's not exactly that. He's giving his perspective, and also the point made is that there was silence from the cherubim, from the angels that continually worship the Almighty, because creation was expecting eagerly the revelation of the children of Yahweh. Also, since we know that the coming of the Son of Man is also called the hour of the Son of Man, it is interesting that that day of Yahweh, or the day of the Son of Man, the day in which the Son of Man will manifest, represented also as the hour of the Son of Man. Just like one day we separated in 12 hours and 12 hours, day and night, And the last 7 years of Daniel 9, the week of Daniel, the last 7 years will be 3.5 years and 3.5 years of seals and the last plagues or the bowls of wrath. Then we can see that day of the Son of Man as 12 hours of day, the seals, and then 12 hours night, the bowls of wrath. Because during the first half, the Son of Righteousness will manifest. That is, the prophet like Moshe, one of the two witnesses of Revelation 11. So since the Son of Righteousness will be manifesting during the first half of the last 7, that would be the 12 hours of day. When he dies and resurrects and leaves this earth, the earth will be in darkness, spiritually speaking. So that would be the night. In that sense, like I was saying, we could see that time of the revelation of the Son of Man like an hour. So half an hour would be representing the first half of that manifestation. In this case, the seventh seal is obviously the last. However, the seventh seal is when the 7 trumpets are heard. There are still a lot of things that must happen during the time left between this moment and the end of the first 3.5 years. But by this moment, the witnesses will have preached, will have testified of Messiah for pretty much half of their time, their half of their ministry. This also, it's important, this first verse and the silence that Yahushua mentions, because of what we are about to read also. But I mean, what we're about to read will confirm this that I am about to say. In the day of Yom Kippur, which is the 10th of the seventh month, the 10th day is Yom Kippur according to Leviticus 23. And that is an important day for many reasons. It's a very important day. In Judaism, it's seen as the day of judgment. Yom Kippur means the day of atonement, the day of atonement. So that is a very important day, and it is interesting that when Yahushua HaMashiach came, he didn't die on that day. He died on Pesach. And that has to do with the fact that Messiah came to fulfill a part. That's why he fulfilled the first 4 feasts. The second manifestation of Yahweh on this earth, who needed the first manifestation in order to be able to fulfill his, whom I called the last. For Yahweh said, I am the first and I am the last. So Yahushua came as the first, now the last must manifest. So just like Messiah Yahushua died on Pesach, now the last must die on Yom Kippur. As I always explain, Yahushua died as the lamb of Pesach, but also died as the male goat that was sacrificed for Yahweh on Yom Kippur. There was another male goat that was sent to the desert for Azazel, which is another Satan for, there are 3 Satans, as I always explain also. Normally in Judaism, they believe in one Satan. In Christianity, they believe in another Satan. And not realize that right there are 2 different Satans. Because if you check the belief of Christianity and the belief of Judaism regarding Satan, you will realize there are different ones. There are different entities. And that will lead you to get a lot more revelation regarding who each congregation is worshiping. But that's for another day. So there is Samael or Belial, whom Judaism sees as Satan. And then there is Halel, Lucifer, whom Christianity sees as Satan. And then there is Azazel, who is found by name in Leviticus 17, yet nobody sees as Satan, which is weird. In Judaism, some believe that Samael is Azazel, but there are several reasons why I don't believe that is true. I believe that Azazel came from Samael, so he would be his child, as in when we read in scriptures the sons of Elohim, different from the sons of Yahweh. meaning the sons of Yahweh are those who believe in the name of Messiah, as we see in John 1:12, while the sons of Elohim were the angels. So there were children of an entity called also Elohim, for Elohim is a title, not only for Yahweh, also for angels, like the authorities. So going back to this verse, when he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. In the ritual of Yom Kippur, there was a moment, and well, I didn't even finish what I was saying regarding the other male goat. The male goat for Azazel was represented by Barabbas when Pilate brought Yahushua and Barabbas, and everybody asked for Barabbas to be delivered and for Yahushua to be sacrificed. That was like the high priest throwing lots to know which male goat would be sacrificed for Yahweh and which male goat would be will be sent to the desert for Azazel. So Yahushua died as the lamb of Pesach and the male goat of Yom Kippur. In Yom Kippur, there were another two animals that were brought to be sacrificed. A ram, which represents Eliyahu, the prophet like Eliyahu, that will come as one of the two witnesses. Well, I said prophet like Eliyahu, but it is Eliyahu himself, just coming back again, as we see in Malachi 4, and he would be one of the two witnesses of Revelation 11. That is represented by the ram. The ox was also brought to be sacrificed, and that represents the witness like Moshe, who comes through Ephraim, who was represented by the ox. Something that would happen during that ritual, which is very interesting, is that the ram was sacrificed as an offering in Shalom, meaning right after the paying of sins, they would sacrifice the ram as something extra for Yahweh, as a gift. But the blood of the male goat for Yahweh and the blood of the ox would be mixed together. That's representing the first and the last, to bring the atonement for the sins of the priests and the people, for the atonement of the sins of the few and the many. So that's why Yom Kippur must fulfill at the very end, and that's why the two witnesses must appear as the last two animals that were needed to be sacrificed during Yom Kippur. So I say all of that because this event is something that would happen in the temple when Yom Kippur would happen, and they would have to bring incense into the most set apart place, or as they call it, Holy of Holies. Into the most set apart place, they would need to bring incense, as we are about to see. That is what is happening right now in this chapter, but in the heavens. And when they would perform the incense ritual, everybody would stay quiet. So this event, this silence, shows that this would be happening during Yom Kippur. And since the two witnesses will die during Yom Kippur, there is a connection between this and the death of the two witnesses, but this would be showing, it seems, the timing of the seventh seal that would open during the Yom Kippur, right before the Yom Kippur in which two witnesses die, meaning 1 year before the two witnesses are killed is when the seventh seal would be opened. So therefore there would be 1 year for the trumpets to sound. Hope that's clear. So when he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour.